My podcast went from 0 listeners to the top 5 thanks to one crazy move, and I'll tell you all about it. And today I'm going to give you 5 big reasons you should podcast about a TV show. Here we go. Hi, I'm Jeff, and this is the RoneyZone Podcast. Stories with humor, heart, and nostalgia. And if you like that kind of thing, subscribe, like, share, and comment on this episode. Thanks. This is episode 7, and I'm going to tell you the craziest thing I ever did for a podcast. So my wife and I were watching this ABC show. It's called Once Upon a Time. And it was really interesting. And so we would watch these episodes, and then after we would talk on the couch for long periods of time. And I said, I think there's something there. And so we started this podcast, and it started to grow slowly at first. And we would get emails from truck drivers and pilots, no lie, all kinds of different people that were listening to the podcast. And so we said, okay, this is great. And then I started thinking, I go, what do we need to do to make this podcast stand out among all the others? What are we going to do? And I had an idea because we lived in California at the time and we were kind of strapped for cash. You know, the first thought I had is, well, we'll get a passport and we'll fly up to where they filmed the show. And it was in Vancouver, British Columbia, in a town called Steveston. Really cute little town next to the water. And we didn't have the money to get a passport. And so what we did is we got an enhanced driver's license, and we decided to drive up from California to Vancouver, Canada. It was the best decision I ever made. One of the listeners, a kind Canadian listener, put us up in their house, and it was steps from where they filmed the show in Steveston. And it's really incredible. When you watch a television show and you think, you know, where do they film this show? Usually it's on a backlot and you can't normally get to it easily. But this show was filmed in a town in Vancouver, Canada. And it was amazing to walk out down the street and say, they filmed the show here. And just that crazy idea I had, and I have a lot of them, but the crazy idea I had was to drive up to go see the filming of the show that we were podcasting about. Changed everything. Absolutely changed everything. My wife had made some connections with part of the cast. We had a dinner with a number of the cast members. That was just so many amazing things happened because of that idea. That's really what I want to encourage you to, is swing for the fences. Just, if you have a crazy idea, it might not really be that crazy at all. But I'm never going to forget the kindness of the Canadian people, just how nice the cast members were. Just amazing. If you've ever seen the show Once Upon a Time, go ahead and leave a comment. And also leave a comment if you've never seen Once Upon a Time and now you may be interested to. Tell me about it. And extra credit, you leave a comment, but extra credit if you're a listener of the Once Upon a Time fan podcast, the one that we hosted those years ago, and leave a comment and tell us if you're a listener. That's extra credit for the comment section. All right, I want to give you 5 big, huge reasons why you should podcast about a television show. Number 1 is an easy why you should, is that people, they get interested in a show once it's been announced that, ABC or Netflix or whatever, they're going to make a television show. And so what you can do is release a little teaser episode about the show. And so because people are interested even before the show airs, They're starting to search. They're starting to see, okay, who is in the show, who's a writer, who's the showrunner, that kind of thing. And people start searching for that, and it's interesting to them. I call these people the pre-listeners to your podcast because they're interested in the show and they're actually searching. So they're physically going through that process. And so those are the people that you want to kind of connect with early on. Number two, once the show comes out, you will have viewers of the show that are searching for information and podcasts about that show. So the concept is start fishing where the fish are. And the fish are the people that are interested and searching for on Google or Bing or wherever. And you can get your information on there and you can get a fish. Number three, media companies really do the heavy lifting. I didn't have thousands of dollars to spend on advertising and that kind of a thing. But in that case, ABC did. And so we just jumped in to Google and Bing and all the social media search platforms. And we basically jumped into their thousands and thousands of dollars that they were using to promote this show. And because that was kind of getting the water stirred for these people. And then we just put a blog post early on, and then we started posting our podcast. And so it's a great thing because they're getting all the people ready for you, for your podcast. And all you need to do is really focus, do your research, and put out these podcasts. And it's ready for you. That's all you have to do is just do it. Now, obviously, your mileage may vary. It's not going to be the same for everybody. We could have been incredibly lucky, but I'm telling you, these things that I'm explaining work. Number four, not only do you want to talk about the episodes, talk about the television show, but you can be a part of the media because you are. You're promoting a show, you're promoting the cast, what they're doing next, what they're doing on hiatus, promoting maybe where it's being filmed or whatever. You become a part of that and they appreciate that. You can also dig a little deeper and do some searches and maybe promote the cast charity events. You want to go far and you really want to get eyeballs from the cast. Get involved and promote their charity. That's again, just you need to listen to me. And so charity, great thing. When you get the heart involved with somebody and they care about something like that and you're promoting it and maybe you're donating to it, come on. All right. And that sets you apart from being just an average fan to someone who actually digs a little deeper and really promotes something that they care about. When you get the heart involved, come on. Number five, the biggest reason you need to podcast about a television show is everyone needs your voice. Your voice is different than mine. Your life is different than mine. Just the path that you've taken, the things that you know, the things that interest you are different than me. And so we need that. We need your voice to talk about a television show and however deep you want to dig into the show. That's up to you. And so I highly recommend that you take your experiences, your perspective, your humor, and get an angle on a television show and do it. It is worth it. One of the listeners actually wrote a book. And you could parlay your podcast into writing a book, Barbara, and she's been on television about the show House. It's just, the opportunities are out there. So we need your voice. So I really want to encourage you, do it. Just do it. I have a bonus tip. Number 6, you're going to encounter situations along the way where you're going to have opportunities to talk to people, to connect with people, to communicate with people. And I'm going to encourage you, ask for what you want. Ask for what you want, because one of the two answers, generally two answers, one of those two answers is the one you want. And you would have never got that if you hadn't have asked. Now, you have to kind of adjust your, when I would say that, someone would on social media reach out to one of the actors and say, I would like this. And it was a huge thing. Getting 10 or 12 people getting involved and all that. Sometimes you have to kind of limit, what you're asking for. But if you get a no, or I can't do that, I'm going to give you an extra huge tip before you kind of give up is say, what can you do for me? That's the gold right there. Asking the question after you get a no, say, what can you do for me? Normally, you're talking to somebody who's in charge of something or part of something that you want to be connected to. And so if you say, what can you do for me? See, that opens the door, because normally you're giving it kind of a narrow part and you're saying, I would like this. I would like someone to sign this or whatever. But then you say, what can you do for me? They've heard you. They know what you're really after and what you're interested in. But now, see, you're kind of giving them, you don't know all the opportunities and things that they have connections to, but they know initially what you wanted, because that's what you told them and that's what you asked them. They said no to the initial question, but then you say, what can you do for me? That opens up the whole thing, because now you don't know what they have access to. And so when you ask that secondary question, that just opens up everything. I know I get excited, but I'm telling you, that is massive what I just told you. I hope you've been encouraged. I hope that you have thought about doing a podcast about a television show. I hope you've been encouraged. There's so much more. I have so much more to say. If you have any questions or thoughts, drop them in the comments. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and or share this episode, especially to fans of Once Upon a Time or Disney or fantasy or writing or books or stories, whatever. Share to those types of people. And thank you for that. This is Jeff, RoneyZone Podcast. See ya.